What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's FFDev here, and in this video I'm going to teach you a few things that we kind of missed in the basics, and if we have time to it in this video we'll get to making the number guessing game. And so I've added a little bit of things in here already, but I'm just going to go ahead and get this stuff out right now. We can start from scratch. Alright, so the first thing we're going to cover is, we'll actually do the operators. We'll go from bottom to top. Alright, so the operators, there's the add increment by 1, the incremental operator, the decremental operator, plus equals, minus equals, and of course you can multiply and divide as well. But you can also do it with just 1 plus, 1 minus, but that's different than you add the number that you want to add. So let's say, I'll show you by example. Int a equals 5. And I can put b equals 5. So what I essentially did here is something a little bit different. This is another way that you can initialize variables. If you have more than one integer you want to initialize at the same time, you put like int a equals 5, and without putting a semicolon you just go ahead and add a comma, and then you can name your second variable and then give it its value. Just to show what's clear, we'll add 6. So now we will do our std cout a plus b std end line, and I forgot my L there. Alright, so now if we run this, so by example we get 11 there. 5 plus 6 is 11. But also, instead of doing that, you could say a plus equals b. And that's the same as a is equal to a plus b. So we run it like this. I know it's a little bit, still 11. I know it's a little bit tricky there, but it's the same as writing this, essentially. And the same with the subtraction operators. It's just a little bit easier. Instead of writing this, it's less complicated on the head to just put a plus equals b. And so you can do the same with the subtract, the multiply, and all that. And the multiply is just going to be the star. And divide, of course, is going to be a slash. But I'll show you something cool. Because we're using integers, you're only going to get how many times. Let's see, b divided by a, let's see, b divide equals a. Never done this one before. So you should get 1. Oh, you get 5. Never actually done this before. b divided by a. Maybe I did that wrong. I was envisioning that wrong. In some situations this can be easier. Alright. So that is 5. Beginners, I was trying to figure out what happened there. A rookie mistake. Rookie mistake there. What I was doing, I was still outputting A instead of B. So now B divided by A should be 1. And I was right. So the reason it's like that, since it's integers, it will only count how many times it can go into it. So let's say that we put this to 3. That'll be 2, of course. If we put it to 2, it'll be 3. But, you know, 4 will be 1 as well. Because 4 can only go into 6 one time. That's just the way it works when you divide with integers. Because they can only do whole numbers. It will only tell you exactly how many times it goes into it and nothing to do with the remainders. But that's good for the operators. Now, let's get on to something different here. What we're going to talk about now is the while loop. So we're going to say the way you do that is, let's go ahead and give an integer a equals 0. We're just going to use a for example, and we'll say while, then you add the parentheses, a is less than, forgot about showing y'all that, is less than 10. Then you put an enter, go ahead and go down and add brackets below it. Then we'll say a plus plus, or we'll actually do it after. We can say std cout a std end the line, and then we'll put a plus plus. And essentially what this does is, while a is less than 10, it runs through this loop. The first time it runs through, a is equal to 0, so it's less than 10. And so it will output this and then increase a by 1. So a will go 1 up to 1, and 1 is still less than 10, and it continues until it's no longer less than 10. So it'll print this message out until, see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's also another operator. It works with, you can say if a is greater than 10. And of course it's not going to do anything because a is less than 10 because we initialized it to 0. But you can also put less than or equal to. Now it will run while it's 10. So you'll get 0 to 10 instead of 0 to 9. To do like the less than or equal to, it's the same as less than symbol there, but you just add an equals after. And the same with greater than. If you want to put greater than or equal to, you add the equals. Equals always goes after. Alright. And now you can do also check for equality. You don't, this right here, the equal sign is actually the assignment operator in C++. That's what we've been doing to give something value. It doesn't check for equality. But to check for equality, you just add another equal sign. So you can say while a is equal to 10, we'll put this out, and this should only print one time because we're going to set a to 10 there. And you'll see it'll only outprint one time because once it gets incremented one more time, it's no longer true. So now we'll go ahead and get rid of this variable. And you can leave the code in there. We're going to reuse the variable named a. So we'll say for. This is how you do the for loop. First you put a for, and then you add your parentheses. Then you're going to use an integer to increment by. And we're going to say int a. Then you add a semicolon. This is a little bit different than any of the syntax you've seen before. So after you put your integer, you put integer, or you put for int a equals, we'll give it its value. Then we'll put a semicolon. And then before you press enter, you'll say while. This is basically the condition you're checking for. While a is less than 10, and then you put a, and then we'll increment it. And now this is perfectly legal code, but if we run it right now, because we have the a++ here, it will actually be incrementing by 2, because what this does, it's the same, it's nearly the same as a while loop, but not quite. When you set it up in this way, it is, if you're using an incrementer. Anyways, you initialize your variable first, you put the condition, and you always have to have an ending condition here. What happens to the variable after the loop is done running? Now you could do it like this, and this is perfectly legal. And this will run until a is less than 10, while it's less than 10. But it makes it a whole lot easier to put the ending condition up here in the front, or at the end. And this always happens, this a++, this always happens after all the code in the brackets have ran. So it's going to be incrementing by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, because it incremented here first, then incremented here, and then restarted the loop. So we can just remove that and run it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so that's how for loops work. We've covered operators, while loops, for loops. Now we're going to cover one more thing. We're going to cover random number generation. This video will be a little bit longer, and we'll be able to create our number game. So what we'll do, let's put an include sign here, hashtag include, or you can call it pound, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to put CST cstdlib. cstdlib. Alright. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put srand, and then we're going to want to use the time function. And this right here just gets like the time, but we're going to use it as a seed from the computer. So what we'll do here is we'll put time, and you'll add parentheses after it and put a 0. And this basically sends a seed to the random number generator, which is the random function. So we'll use rand. And now let's go ahead and give it a number. Int num to guess. So basic we'll say do it this way, num to guess equals rand, and then you can do it this way. Let's see, add a modulus, and this will basically this is your maximum number, and so like if you have it like this, it's only gonna give you from 0 to 10. And just to show you how it works, we'll just go ahead and do this. You're getting numbers from, I believe, or actually I think it's exclusive, so that's actually going to be 0 to 9. So if you want a number that goes from, let's say, 1 to 10 instead of 0 to 9, because it always starts off at 0, what you will do is just add it by 1. So you'll put +1. So this will add your result 1 to it. So that's essentially going to give you 1 to 10. Now, I know it's a little bit of a complicated topic, but not too complicated. It's pretty easy to get your head around. So every time you run it, we get a different number. And so the way we're going to do this is we're going to create a while loop. This is going to be the number guessing game. We're going to have time to do it. Alright. So we're going to say int guess equals -1, or actually I'm going to put it as 11 because 11 is not within the range. We don't want to win the game automatically. And so really you could put any number that's just, you know, a whole number that's not between 1 and 10. So actually, because we're not doing 0, we can just put 0 as well. So we'll put while guess. And this is actually something I have of an operator I haven't showed you guys. I showed you all this is the equality. Well, this checks for non-equality. So as long as our guess is not equal to, let me go ahead and put this in here, to number to guess, then it's going to say, we're going to say stdc out, please enter your guess. Now we're going to tell it to add guess. I messed that syntax up a little bit. Alright, so now we send in guess. And then what we will do is we'll add one more condition that says if guess, so this don't have to be the best way of coding it, is equal to number to guess. Then we'll just say stdc out. Congrats, you have guessed the number. No, what I was thinking there, I didn't add the little arrows. Get in a hurry sometimes. Alright. So now that we have that, what's going to happen here essentially is I'm going to have to add the arrows there. I didn't add them there either. I added them the wrong way. I'm just making all sorts of mistakes while coding. Alright. Alright, so what's going to happen is while your number is not equal to the guess number, it starts off as 0, which is not going to be a valid guess, which makes this statement true. So it's going to tell you to enter your number, and whenever you enter it, if it's not equal, it's going to run back through again, and you got to keep trying to guess it till you get it. Then when it is equal to it, it's going to give you congratulations, and the program's going to be over. This is just a simple number game, nothing too complex. But let's run it and see how it happens. Please enter your guess. 10? Nope. It's not 1. It's not 2. Not 3. Not 4. 4 is the magic number. We'll guess again. We're going to try 1. It's not 1. Not 2. Not 3. Not 4. Not 5. Not 6. Not 7. Not 8. Not 9. And it's got to be 10. It was the very last guess. So with that right there, you have just learned how to create your first little simple game. And I know this is really, really simple, but it's always good to start with the basics because these loops are really important. They're really, really important for coding. And I'll be teaching you a few more things and ways to do things. Like we could have used a boolean here instead, but I will show you that in a future video. So this has been the number guessing game. If you guys enjoyed this content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.